All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a tool that is absolutely changing the game for how businesses see themselves. I'm talking about Microsoft Power BI.
So let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? Your business is just drowning in data, right? You've got sales figures here, spreadsheets over there, customer records, but you're starving for actual wisdom. What does it all mean? If you feel like you're spending all your time just collecting the numbers instead of understanding them, trust me, you are not alone.
Okay, to make this all super clear, let's talk about a guy named Ben. Ben runs a growing auto parts store, and his story? Well, it's the perfect example of what happens when all that data chaos we just talked about finally meets a really powerful solution.
See, Ben's problems were really starting to pile up. He had all this expensive inventory just sitting on the shelves, not selling. And he was starting to realize that his customers in different areas wanted totally different things. I mean, performance parts were flying off the shelves in the north, but over in the east, it was all about truck parts and lubricants. He was basically flying blind, with no way to spot these huge patterns or guess what was coming around the corner.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. That was Ben's life, data chaos. He's juggling different systems, 1C, Excel, his CRM, pulling manual reports, and just feeling that constant stress. The charts were a mess. But then, look at the right, the new way, data clarity. All his key metrics, revenue, profit, sales, right there on one screen, updated in real time on his laptop or even his phone. That is the promise of business intelligence. So, the big question is, how do you get from the chaos on the left to the clarity on the right? Well, for Ben, and honestly for thousands and thousands of other businesses, the answer is a tool called Power BI. It's built for one thing, really, to find the wisdom, the story that's hiding inside all those numbers.
Now, Power BI isn't just one single program. Think of it more like a collection of software services, tools, and connectors. What it does is it reaches out, connects to all your different data sources, your sales software, your spreadsheets, you name it, and it pulls all that information together. Then the magic happens. It transforms all that raw data into these amazing interactive visual insights that you can actually use to make smart decisions.
And it's a whole ecosystem, which is what makes it so flexible. You've got Power BI Desktop, right? That's where you'll do the heavy lifting, creating your reports. Then there's the Power BI Service. That's the cloud-based part, where you share those reports and collaborate with your team. And of course, there's Power BI Mobile, so you can check in on your key metrics from literally any device. It's all designed to fit how you and your team actually work, whether you're at your desk or on-premise with the report server.
Okay, now for the really cool part. It's one thing to talk about what Power BI is in theory, right? But it's something else entirely to see how it actually worked for Ben, how it completely transformed his business.
And you know what? His process was actually pretty simple. It really boils down to 4 steps. First, he connected all those different data sources. Then, he used the simple drag-and-drop tools to start creating visuals. Almost immediately, step 3, those visuals started showing him trends he had never seen before. And that led to the final step, making smart, confident decisions based on what the data was telling him.
And just like that, the story became crystal clear. I mean, by putting his sales data into visuals, Ben could instantly see which products were his big winners. Things like performance parts were just flying off the shelves. But at the same time, he saw that other products, like his electronics, had totally flatlined. That's a game-changing insight you just can't get from staring at rows and columns in a spreadsheet.
But here's the key. He didn't just stop at the aha moment. He took action. He used map visuals to pinpoint exactly where that demand for performance parts was coming from in the north. He used the forecast feature to see that the trend was going to continue, which gave him the confidence to raise prices a bit and boost his profits. And those electronics that weren't selling, he put them on a clearance sale, which stabilized his sales and freed up cash. These are real-world decisions that directly impact the bottom line. So, to recap, right? You've got desktop for creating your reports, the service for sharing and collaborating with your team, and mobile for viewing on the go. Getting a handle on these is the foundation. But what happens when you add a layer of real intelligence on top of all that?
Because this is where Power BI goes from being a great visualization tool to being a total game changer. We're talking about the AI-driven future. This is what makes Power BI an absolute superpower for businesses heading into 2025 and beyond.
So, say hello to Power BI Copilot. Think of it as your personal AI assistant for data, built right into the platform. What's so amazing about this is that it makes really advanced analytics accessible to everyone, not just the data experts. You literally just ask it questions in plain English, and it does all the heavy lifting for you.
And I mean, just imagine this scenario. A sales manager, instead of spending hours fiddling with filters and pivot tables, just types, "Show me my top 5 performing products by profit in Q1." And boom, Power BI generates the insight, the visual instantly. This isn't just about saving time. It's about fundamentally changing how quickly a business can react and make decisions.
And the AI superpowers don't stop there. You can ask even more complex questions with its enhanced Q&A. The forecasting is incredibly powerful, helping you predict things like seasonal demand. You can even tap into real-time analytics, monitoring data from IoT devices or apps as it's happening. And the best part, it integrates seamlessly with everything: Azure, Salesforce, SAP, you name it. All your data finally talking to each other.
Okay, so this is obviously amazing for a business owner like Ben. But let's bring it back to you. Why is this a skill you need right now? Well, think about it. When Ben adopted this, he didn't just fix his inventory. He upskilled his entire team, and that gets to the real payoff for your career.
The demand for these skills is exploding. Just look at the numbers. According to Gartner, the entire market for BI software is growing by more than 10% every single year. That means businesses are absolutely desperate for people who can actually use these tools to find those valuable insights.
And you see that demand everywhere you look, especially in job postings. We're talking about high-demand roles like BI developer, data analyst, business analyst, even supply chain analyst. More and more, Power BI isn't just a nice-to-have on a resume. It's a requirement. Learning this tool literally opens doors to some of the best jobs out there.
Look, the bottom line is this. Power BI is no longer just some niche tool for analysts in the IT department. It's an absolutely essential skill for almost any professional in today's data-driven world. We're talking managers, marketers, you name it. This is really about data literacy for everyone.
You know, at the end of the day, all of your data, it's trying to tell you a story. Every sale, every customer click, it's all part of a narrative. And tools like Power BI are what give you the power to finally understand that story, to stop just reacting to what happened yesterday and start shaping what happens tomorrow. So the only question left is, are you ready to listen?